You got chips. I don't have chips. Should have got chips.
Bro, fucking salt and vinegar, dog.
Oh yeah, those are great. I love the salt and vinegar chips.
You a chip connoisseur like myself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're my favorite chip. Maybe they might be in my top 5 though. If I had to pick chips.
You ever have the
which is weird.
The jalapeno kettle cooked chips?
No.
Wow.
So I don't do spicy.
Oh, and spicy for a white person, yeah. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, spicy for a white person. I can't do. I ate a jalapeno once. I thought I was gonna die.
Dude, I mean, I didn't put a gun.
Because it hurt. It was.
Shit. I don't know. I feel like I
just don't.
Chips in general, man. Like texture is tight. You can get like some salt and vinegar. You can just get plain. You even have sweet potato ones too. I haven't tried those yet.
See, that might be something I feel like I might be into.
I mean, what is your, if you're gonna snack, what is like your go-to?
Lately, I guess it's been like Cheetos.
Oh, so you're all about
I like puffed Cheetos.
You like the flaming hot Cheetos? They give you like a bush finger stain. But dude, that has to be one of the most like rewarding. Has to be one of the most rewarding finger licks, though, isn't it?
I love the finger lick.
Puffed
Cheetos, that's my weakness.
Dat Creedle, man. Dat Creedle.
You know.
Yeah.
Mm. I couldn't get any more.
Yeah.
Why can't nobody mention the Fritos, man? Don't forget about the Fritos. They got built-in scoops.
Who eats Fritos?
I don't know, man.
I eat Fritos.
Dude, I'm a huge fan of Bargain Brand.
Oh!
Not gross, white people.
There it is. Welcome, everybody, to the Plumes of Hazard.
What up?
That might have been the best intro we've ever done.
Dude, them chips, yo.
Oh, my goodness.
Chuffalophagus, I got you.
Nick?
It's actually Chuffalingus.
Yeah, it's
actually Chuffalingus.
Mm-hmm.
We're going off again, and we're gonna kind of, Nick's gonna be with us the whole time through the news, through all that. So.
Because come on, it's freaking Grimm Green. Why would we not have him in here the whole time?
Yeah, welcome.
The whole yes, I'm happy to be here on the Plumes of Hazard.
Very hesitant about that.
Whoever you fuckers are.
Yeah. The fuck am I got myself into?
Nick Beard's come in all shapes and sizes and genders.
So who's got news? Well, let's start with Nick. Nick, do you have any news or anything interesting in the vaping world for you right now?
No, I don't really have any news. I saw a thing yesterday about the World Health Organization. I don't know if you want to go down that road.
Oh, yes.
I posted it on my Facebook. Evidently, the World Health Organization has come out and said, we need to do research now. We shouldn't ban anything related to electronic cigarettes. We need to do a lot more research because they might not be as bad as everybody thinks they are. So that's what I saw.
Well, no shit.
The WHO, because the WHO was very pro-regulation, like anti-e-cigs, and now they're kind of taking a step back and saying, well, let's just wait and actually do research before we make any decisions.
Someone should make like a highlight reel of coverage on them. Like, oh, they're terrible. It's all about the kids, man. There's like formaldehyde and gingivitis and this shit, and now it's like, oh, maybe they're not as bad.
Yeah, maybe.
These e-cigarettes are hilarious.
Oh, good.
What about you, Foobaca? You got anything?
Chips.
Chips.
Salt and vinegar chips.
Mind you. I did have a piece of news, right? Oh yeah, for my New York area people, I'm having a meet at the Henley Vaporium this Thursday at 6. come by for pizza and beer and a cloud contest and my company, most importantly.
The end.
The end.
Just a special day for
crunching
you.
the chip and looking into the camera. I got real intimate and shit.
I was turned on by it. It was good. Hey, I had something kind of special happen today at noon Central Time. That marked 1 year of no smoky smokes for me.
Hey.
Oh yeah! Congratulations.
So thanks, and I want to say thank you again for Phil. I said this when Phil was on. There were 3 guys that helped me switch from smoking to not smoking, and that was Phil, that was Todd. Hey guys, Todd here, and Mr. Nick Grimm Green here, that is in our show right here, and I could not be more honored to have you on, sir. That's it's really exciting.
Oh yeah! Wow, it's my pleasure. Congratulations! I think that's badass.
Yeah.
Really good.
You know,
Really good.
everybody counts their days, right? And I just never really thought anything of it. And I have no idea when my 1 year was.
Like not even a month. It was like.
I had the month.
Like
It was like
June?
last month or 2 months ago or something. I actually had to go through my email and look at receipts for the first kit that I ordered and kind of estimate the date from there.
Wow.
That's okay.
Memory loss at high elevations as well.
Oh, well, you know, then it constricts the brain, all that shit, you know.
Right.
So we briefly covered last week the whole AmeriVape thing being rude and Todd not doing what they thought he should be doing for testing thing. I did want to call out a little bit. Our friend of the Hangouts, Mr. Shuffleophagus, did a really cool little video tutorial on how that.
Shufflelingus?
Oh yes.
He blowing it with his mouth.
So as opposed to blowing through his mouth, he did this, and I'm pasting into the chat right now. If you haven't seen it, so he went through. He actually fashioned a 510 compressed air hose fitting, and was able to do some testing on how it vapes, or how it vents rather, and it does vent, and just a little at higher pressure than one can achieve with one's mouth, which is good to see. And props to Todd. As soon as that came out, Todd posted that up and said, "This is exactly what I wanted in the first place." You know, I mean, if they would have just said this, then all done. But I thought that was really cool, and also some good gifts came out of that because he's a very emotive person, as our friend Jay says.
Yep. So you can put your crucifixions back in your sheets.
Don't worry, guys. I got more.
Yeah, no, we got more crucifixions coming.
Yeah, and that was actually a quick turnaround by Chuff putting that video up.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, that coming out and then him saying, "What? No, this isn't," And I think that morning uploading it, and then it just went viral.
Dude, I know Todd was talking in his update today that what did he say, that Chuff's video has more views than the original?
Than his which is comedy. But no, I mean that kind of information is really slick. It's cool that he took it to himself and actually decided, hey, I'm just gonna actually do this and prove it and see if it works, and it did.
And if anybody does want a Manhattan, I do hear that Todd's giving one away.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Yes, he is. Let's see, what else we have here? I have got some new juice. I picked up a new Suicide Bunny that they just came out with, the Kings of Crown, I think. Mine was Fight Your Fate, which is an interesting one that I actually kind of enjoyed when I was hitting up Pantheon the other day. It's a little wacky. It's like a ripe strawberry and lemony kind of thing, so that kind of sets it off. It's really quite good, and here's the other thing that I was going to go into. So I've been on max VG for many months at this point, and I think I've been off of smokes long enough to where I don't really crave that throat head anymore. I mean, yeah, I still sub-ohm and drip between 30 and 50 to 70 watts if I'm being silly, but I don't really crave that throat head anymore. So I've been going this max VG thing for quite some time, and I think I have either developed an actual intolerance to PG, which is kind of weird, or lemon flavors. So this has happened to me twice, and it's kind of weird. So I had one that was a lemon water sort of vape, and it tasted wonderful. It was really, really, really good. Very refreshing. Very ready for summer. And the next day I got up and my throat was raw, like razor blade raw, and then I got like some weird like allergy, like stuffy things going on, and I was like, okay, that's weird because I don't have any allergies to anything that I know of, and I just thought it was coincidence. This happened again this last week, or a couple days ago. I woke up with the exact same thing, and I'm wondering if it's either a higher PG, which these things are, or this lemon flavor, whatever this extract is. But I don't. Have you guys ever like found any particular juice that treated your throat poorly?
Yeah, I dripped 5 pounds at work actually, and that shit hurt.
5 pounds did it.
0.35, 5 pounds. No, thank you. Fitty.
Yeah.
Dude, it was a zero.
Any high PG will do that to me.
I
But
dripped.
what I'm weird is peanut butters make me sick. They make me nauseous. Every peanut butter I've ever tried has made me nauseous.
Yeah, peanut butter doesn't translate well.
You sure it ain't got no salmonella in it? You gotta read the labels, bro.
The other thing that I know Grimm just covered recently too is everybody's been talking about this Japanese cotton thing. So I rolled up to Pantheon. That's why I went up there, is to pick up some Japanese cotton, and I did. That stuff is really interesting. I have played with it a little bit. I've currently got it in this K-Fun, and it wicks really, really well. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of like little sheets, and I don't have one because they actually had sold out by the time I got there. But he gave me a little sample, and Guy did, and I have been using it. It's really pretty cool. So I mean, all it is there you go. Say something. Yeah. So I don't know how you do it, Nick, but I busted it in half and then just cut a little thin sliver off.
Yep.
Yeah.
That thing looks like a tampon.
I'm sure you could double as one if you got desperate.
Maxi pad. There you go.
Mm-hmm. So that stuff really works well. And if you haven't seen it, that's how it comes. And the interesting thing to me about it is all of the fibers are all lined up nice and long. So one would assume that the capillary action would be fantastic.
Does yours have mine has little brown spots, like brown speckles. Is that going to show up?
I call them health spots. I assume that has to be. No, I think natural cotton has that. I think.
Yeah, it does.
I think bleached cotton often, they're probably still there, but it's just been bleached white, right?
Yeah, natural cotton has it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I've picked cotton before.
So no, here's a question for you then, Nick. Do you know if this product was originally like marketed for this, or is that like literally like a makeup cosmetic thing that they've adapted to?
I think it's been adapted. The only place I've ever seen it is on Amazon, and it's in the health and beauty section.
Right.
When you go to Amazon, it's funny because it also says people who purchased this Japanese cotton also purchased, Canthol, tweezers, scissors, blowtorch. So it's like, obviously, it's a lot of vapors are buying it now, but I believe it was, adapted for vaping. I don't think its intention was vaping, because it was in the health and beauty section, just like normal cotton balls.
Sure. I have to say, so I've only been using it in K-Fun so far because I only had like a little bit. Have you been using it in drippers and things as well?
Yes, it's not in this one, but I've had it in other ones, and I've had it in drippers where there's a couple drippers I have where I have to lift the coil really far off the deck to kind of meet the airflow holes, and so there's like this wick of Japanese cotton going up to it, and it seems to make the distance from the deck up to the coil just traveling up, because you leave it, with the grain of the cotton, and so it can travel right up there. And it works. I mean, it works great. I haven't tried it in like a Genesis or anything yet, because Genesis are terrible.
You are not wrong, except for
life.
Understudy might disagree a little bit because he just got a new toy a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Sounds like I'm contractually obligated to like this doodle bug for another 6 weeks before I shit on it. Okay.
I've told him that the air pressure difference up in his high horse really is not going to make those Jennies work very good. So, but he doesn't listen.
Great, man.
Yeah, when you come back down to atmosphere level.
Well, that would affect the silica build a lot more than a Genesis, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So we actually had somebody on that I haven't seen you review yet, Nick. So last week we had the guys from Eden Mods on that sell the rose. You need a rose.
It looks K-funny.
It's a silica build, but it's not a K-Fun. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
it is
really
significantly better than that. Significantly somewhat better.
Shut up.
I'm gonna add that little.
What was your exact wording on that, Angsty?
My wording was, it is significantly, but not a lot taller.
Okay, there we go.
It's not a lot taller.
It's a little taller than a K-Fun, but not a lot.
They're putting out a Stumpy kit, though.
Yeah, that's why you get the stump.
It's a really, really good tank. Like, he convinced me to buy one, and they're just phenomenal tanks.
What's it called?
The Rose.
The Rose.
The Rose by Eden Mods, like Garden of Eden. It comes with a really cool stand. You
should buy a Rose atomizer by Steel.
Because I know you like the K-Fun. So it's think K-Fun, except for you can rewick it without emptying the tank. The juice flow is better. It's ready for.
It's got adjustable juice flow control, and the airflow is a little cleaner. And adjustable and gets bigger.
Nice guys too. Guys that make it really cool.
That's awesome. I love the K-Funs. Like that's my end game is just K-Fun. I love them.
K-Fun's on a DNA right here.
Yeah. That's all I want to rock all the time.
That is I completely agree. And it was for my Vaporversary that I bought it, and just because it is quite a bit more expensive than a K-Fun, and so I was like, you know what, I'll buy a present for myself, and it turned out to be really, really just fantastic. Made by cool dudes.
Right.
I think that's all I've got. Understudy, it's over to you.
First off, we finally kind of got with the times and made a Facebook. If you're on the website or the YouTube, there's Facebook links on both. You can click, you can join. It's a group, not a page, so we're looking for like a community. So you can come on, you can post, you can talk. It's not just us talking and us broadcasting. We wanted kind of a community out of this. Same thing with a subreddit, right?
Yeah.
We were looking for the same. And
since we came from Reddit, we tried to avoid Facebook a little bit just to stay true to our roots, but it only makes sense that we have something on Facebook because a lot of people are on Facebook and not on Reddit. So
we're selling.
When I saw that thing, I was like,
increíble.
Man, that's a first.
So find your Facebook group.
The cloud.
Oh, I'm spelling Plumes wrong. I'm an idiot. How do you spell Plumes wrong?
Plomz.
He's probably spelling it in Spanish. It's okay, dude.
I'm gonna throw it in chat. I just threw it in the side chat.
Happens to me. It happens to me all the time.
Plumes spelled the same in Spanish.
So
no, plumas is feathers. So that would cause an issue.
The cloud for Annas, the little fire starters.
The little fire starters.
So I haven't had a problem with mine. I haven't had a problem with mine, and I'll say that right away, and I'll start with that. But I want to talk about it because there's been a lot of posts of I see all this negativity about these lighting on fire, but I just want to put some positive that mine is fine.
Well, you have a lot of people. You have a lot of people that are either looking to get them, ordered them 3 months ago and are getting them, or are buying one from somebody right now. So that's where a lot of people stand right now, or somebody that has one already.
Yeah.
So
the problem is you can't really ignore an issue like catching on fire. Is it going to be everyone? No, it's not. It's going to be a couple. It's probably a small portion, and from what I understand, it's an issue with the 510, and I might try to replicate it and catch it on fire. I'm thinking about it just to see if I can make it happen because I think it's a 510 issue. But
I might have one of those 510s. I'll look and see if we can show it later.
It's just being aware of the fact that they are catching on fire.
Are they actually like flames, like catching on fire?
Actually, so my understanding of what's happening is if you put too big of a 510 in here, if you move the 510 wrong, it's shorting on the sidewall, and these don't have the same short protection. Like if you watch the Cloudport video, it's a dude shoving a screwdriver in and going, look, it doesn't turn off like the DNA. That's good.
And we're like, no.
So it's shorting,
Oh.
and it's catching the board on fire, and people are saying that they're seeing like a yellow glow behind their board.
Yeah.
And then they're popping out the battery, and there's a flame.
Melting.
It's actual fire.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, I think what some people are saying is the positive pin is wider than normal in the device itself. So if you've got a positive pin on your Addy that's not protruding a little bit, then in theory the negative can contact the positive, and that's the theory anyway.
I see.
Like for example, on the Pro Tank, like you have that ring, okay, and then you have the center, okay. Well, that 510, the diameter of the center pin of that 510 covers everything, your outside negative and your internal positive. So you're pushing this down into the 510, and you're shorting the whole thing out because the center pin is so wide.
Gotcha.
If you haven't had a problem, I'm not saying get rid of it, but I'll tell you that I came downstairs immediately after reading this at 5 a.m., unplugged it, took the battery out, took the Addy out, and now it's only used under supervision.
Just in case.
What is it, a shitty custody agreement?
I could just pull a Todd and give it away.
Yeah.
I think what I said in the post because I replied to the same thing. I think I don't think it's a bad thing. I think having competition in the market is fantastic, but I want to be able to say to tell the new guy that wants to start getting into RBAs or whatever and still wants to keep with regulated mods. I want to say, hey, here's an alternative. Here's an $80 device instead of a $180 plus DNA device. Then this works almost as well, and it's safe to use. And I can't do that right now because even if it's 1% or less, even if it's 0.5% of these things that are having problems, that's too high if it's actually catching fire. If it wasn't working, okay, fine, right? You can go and RMA it and stuff. But if it's actually catching fire, that's too much of it.
Well, and here's something in addition to what he experienced and has seen and read about the issues that have been going on with that is this not only involves the 510, but it also involves the board. Mm-hmm. Now here's the problem that I have. Fastec just put up those boards for sale for under $30. Okay? So here's what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to go out there, buy this board, put it in their mods. Let's just hope that they're using a 510 that doesn't have an issue. But, that's something that people just need to be aware of.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so you change the 510. That's great. But the board still has the issue that if it's shorting, it's just going to keep pumping power in it until it shorts on the board, and now you have a fire.
Yeah.
So, that's you also have an issue with the board. So they go hand in hand with the 510.
Oh yeah. And how is it worded? And I understand that a lot of people are getting defensive and defending this product because a lot of people have been waiting for something like this for a long time. And I do think, and I mean, actually, I agree. A cheaper alternative is phenomenal, and something to compete with the DNA market is phenomenal.
Yeah. But
they're still catching on fire.
Right.
A couple more revisions, they'll probably fix the issue. I'm sure of it.
Sure.
But for now, just be wary.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was crucifixion number 1. Let's move on to a positive note before crucifixion number 2.
Crucify him.
We've spent some more time. I've spent more time with Witty Octopus's stuff, especially the Minty Mountains. I really like the Minty Mountains, but I got to tell you, man. And now I'm gonna tie this right into crucifixions number 2. It is phenomenal juice at $12 a 30 mil. Phenomenal juice.
And this is coming from Sean.
Yeah. And I've been hitting up some of the local shops, and not I'm not going to talk about any specific local shops, but we got some shops that do house blends at $15 a 15 mil. We got some shops that have their simple line, which is 1 flavor, and then they add 2 flavors or more than 2 flavors, and it's a prime line, so 2 to 3 flavors, and you're looking at $22 for their premium juice line. And you got guys like Grizzly Vape.
Deal with it.
Oh, that was awesome.
But you got guys like Grizzly Vapes. You got guys like Scott, DB. You got all these really, really good juice makers selling more complex juice significantly cheaper. So what is premium juice? I mean, $1 a mil at that is just stupidly expensive. Absolutely stupidly expensive that we as vapors let that happen.
Yeah.
And that we're willing to pay that.
Especially once you get up it's one thing paying $1 a mil if it's a sample size or something, right? But if once you get to 30 mil, about, I mean, that whole, normal curve that we see is.
And when you're going through 5, 6, 7 mil a day or more, that's
Right.
that costs more than smoking.
You know what it is? I feel like is that we value juice for different reasons. You know what I mean?
Continue.
What?
Continue.
People will value a more boutique juice or something fancy that has a nice presentation, right? They'll value it for what it is. They're kind of.
Yeah, but you can't even use the presentation argument because I mean we've shared.
Hey, let me finish, motherfucker.
You said continue. You said continue.
Tells me to continue. Fuck you, Sean.
He likes to do that a lot. I'm surprised he isn't talking about the rose. Oh wait, he already got that out of his system.
The fuck back on your stirrups. Anyway. So, I mean, they value it for what it is, it's nice marketing, blah, 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 right? We value juice because we sit and we're fucking nerds about it. With its flavor or pricing, just in general, it's like, yeah, it's just what it is. Like Grizzly Vapes. I think one of my coworkers says it looks cheap. Like, it kind of does. So.
Right. It's got a simple label on it.
But the thing is that like I'm not afraid to try it.
Right. So, but let's use somebody that Nick's more familiar with, which is DB Liquids. He's in the same price bracket, and and we know and love Scott as well. But he's in the same price bracket, and he makes complicated, really, really good juice for $15 a 30. Why?
Somebody in chat said you're bitching about cost but demanding quality liquid that's not going to kill you. Really? Because you can buy a lot of quality liquid that's not going to kill you for a significantly lower price.
Right.
And it's arguably significantly better quality than what you're buying at $1 a mil.
I think you're being a wee bit unfair, Sean, by saying that vapors let this happen, because I don't see why vaping would be any exception to any other hobby or.
It's not.
Right. Yeah. So whether there's going to be expensive juice regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just really. I guess I was really taken aback to go into a place and see like a 2-flavor juice be $22.
Huh.
And more.
Yeah, I was just kind of taken back by that, right?
Right. And we know you got
on my horse.
And you got to we recognize that B&M's specifically they got bills to pay and they got people to pay that are different and more expensive than a regular online only juice shop. So their prices are going to be a little bit higher, and you should be supporting your local people if they're good people and stuff. But at the same time, so we recognize that, and then you also got to recognize that the margins in juice are pretty awesome, right? And I equated the other night when we were hanging out, I equated it to paintball, which I used to do when I was in college. If you go to a brick and mortar, so to speak, for a paintball shop, their hardware is comparable. I mean, it's more expensive, but by a little bit from online stuff. But where their bread and butter comes from is paint. In a very similar way, that's where their margins are. So they got to make money. You can't fault them for making some money, but you need to be, in my opinion, you need to be delivering some serious quality for that money.
I think they're playing the let's see how high we can go game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Each month, another vendor comes out and this is the bestest liquids ever made with the utmost juice, and here we have it at this price point. I mean, whatever the hell they want to do, inside of a barrel, inside of somebody's ass, I don't know, made in a bathtub. It never ceases to amaze me where all these juices are coming out of now. Now we're gonna have Martha Stewart juice line.
Orifices, that's where they're coming from, bro.
Seriously. So, and I think that the more complex you can make it look and sound and be, the more I think people are saying, well, shit, let's just charge $50 for a 30 mil. See if people will pay it. Yeah. Bam! Here come 500 orders in the first hour for $50 a 30 mil. And then they say, well, shit, people are paying $50. A few months go by, Well, now here's this line. This one's aged 3.2 days. In somebody's basement. Okay, so now you got one that's $60. Because it's. Yeah, I'm just saying. I think for a long period of time there, the juice market was straight across was, at the levels that you were talking about. And then people started putting a lot more, and I'll agree, putting a lot more time and research into making better juices, and the price bumped up a little bit, and then people said, well, damn, there's a lot of money being made here in juice. Let's charge $20. Let's charge $25. And little by little, oh, well, this is a boutique juice. So it's in a little cabinet, and you open it, and you get the juice out of it. And that's why it's $35.
I already want that juice.
We can go all night here,
Dude,
so I think
cabinet.
To bring it back to like a positive note, though, that's why I love guys like Witty, what Witty Octopus is doing, man. His presentation is better than almost anybody's I've seen.
Yep.
The notes, the freaking wax stamp,
right?
All of it. His presentation.
If I see any juice in a little curio cabinet, I want 5%, motherfuckers. Okay.
The next juice is coming in tiny little curio cabinets. Glass.
Hey, that's what
glass.
That's what the magma comes in, right? That you
it comes in the little. Hold on.
Little treasure chest.
Treasure chest.
Now, I mean, Nick, you're obviously welcome to weigh in, but I'm not going to ask because you have a juice company.
No, it's fine. I just had to do some quick math when you started talking about this to figure out how much our juice is per mil. And I was like, okay, that's actually pretty reasonable. We're not.
Yeah, totally.
It's not ridiculous. It's not. It's not ridiculous. But it's marketing. I mean, that's what it is. I'm sure if you took Mountain Baker Vapor Hawk Sauce and put it in a fancy glass bottle in a stained glass curio cabinet with a wax seal on it and sold it for double the price, people would think that it tastes better.
Probably.
Yeah, but is it stained glass or is it just normal glass?
The sides are stained glass.
Okay, see, if it's stained glass and that protects the sunlight from entering the juice,
exactly.
So that's an extra $25.
It keeps it from going bad.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Double the price of Mount Baker is still affordable, dude.
So we're starting a new juice company then, right? Like right now. Just super boutique juice. But yeah, I mean it's 80% marketing and the rest is just people saying that it's good. Or people getting a bottle of 5 Ponds and going, this is the best juice I've ever had. And someone else hearing, well, if it's the best juice he's ever had, it might be worth that price. And they already kind of get it in their head that it is worth that price so that when they try it, they justify spending their money on it. You know what I mean?
Yep. And as you know,
I'm a guy who probably has tried a bunch of this freaking great, like, expensive juice. I mean, I got a cabinet full of juice, or a drawer full of juice.
Oh, yeah.
And in personal experience, it hasn't stacked up to some of the stuff that's $15 at 30 mil or so. It really hasn't.
Yeah. Well, and in the end, you vape what you like anyway.
Of course.
It doesn't. I mean, that's.
I wanted to have, when I see like people selling in-house juice at like $1 a mil though. That's when I want to go on my little rant because that's
how dare you vape what you like? Come
that's
on
one
now,
of those
you know you
things
can't do that.
That in-house juice that's really expensive. That's for people who go to that brick and mortar store, and that's all. And they don't go online and look at other juices, and they have their sweet tarts juice that they like so much, and that's what they buy, and that's the price. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
it feels like highway robbery to an extent, though. Which is
I mean, it's not. You're right.
Because in this case, at least the premise in which vaping is predicated on, which was, at least primarily, all of us got into this to save money, and if I'm gonna drop like $35-$40 for a 30 mil, for fuck's sake, in this
Biggest lie ever told.
Yeah. Now I do have to say that I give credence
it's not worth it
for anything that's wholesaled though, because in that sense there's another step in the market. Like it's the same concept. The same concept. I used to make an argument way back when about the Duke compared to the DZ,
right?
And the price of the two. And Nick, I know you're a Duke fan.
Yes.
But I used to say that the Duke was too expensive because you could get a DNA mod for $10 more. Well, the reason is because the DNA mod is sold specifically through the maker, where the Duke has to go through a retail chain, and the retailer has to make money. Mind you, the retailer's not making a lot of money, but I give a lot more credence to, I've sold my juice to you, the retailer, and now you have to make your money as well.
Right.
So.
Yes.
So on good note, you still use your Duke?
I do. I use it all the time. It's kind of sitting over here. I don't have it. I try to
It's in the other
declutter my
room
desk.
in the garbage.
I try to. it's over here. I try to declutter my desk as much as I can. Like sometimes I'll get carried away, and there'll be like 6, 7, 8 mods all just sitting here with tanks and bottles of juice, and I'll go, what am I doing? And I'll put everything over here on a side table, and I'll just have one mod on my desk, and it's one that got moved recently. It's sitting over here on my side table with the Origin dripper on it.
Good dripper.
It's fantastic. And I was thinking about grabbing it, but I have really expensive juice, and I don't want you to make fun of me.
Oh.
Mass, you got any news before we get into the Q&A segment?
You know, I'm not going last anymore because I go after him every time, and then he starts going, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" Okay, so real quick, it was a rumor going around about the SX350 board. Later on, we're going to show you how to solder your buttons directly to it. So,
hooray, buttons!
The button updates, you can use your buttons instead of the tilting gizmo. And so on this little guy right here, there's your SX350 board. The end of June, it's going up to 40 watts. Okay, via software update. Nothing done physically to the board. End of June, software update, 40 watts. It's been verified by Yeehee. They've been doing a lot of testing on it, and that's really cool. That this board has gone from 30 watts to 35, and after some software tweaks, up to 40. So it's actually going to be kind of cool. So. Also, one of the things we already talked about was, I just wanted to warn people about the China DNA30 chip that Fastech put up for sale. I think they were selling them. For $27 or something like that. They had the 20. Yeah, they had the 20-watt version and they had the 30-watt version, and so just basically be careful with that because the board is having some issues with shorting and stuff like that, and you definitely want that protection. You don't want to have the board catch on fire by just shorting out. So, and I think that that's about it for my news. I mean, we talked a little bit, with Mass about the whole shorting and
all
that
a little
other
bit.
stuff,
Grimm's
so.
occupied.
I'm sorry. My wife tried to walk in.
In my nightie.
And
On your night, don't do that.
She's in her nightie, and
No.
she was afraid she
My
just
first question
walked
is,
in
as
and,
soon as Mass
walked
finished, I was going to ask
What? So yeah, so that's crisis averted.
how is Amber? Is she recovering nicely?
It was inappropriate.
How is she doing from the hospital visit, Nick?
She still feels like shit, but she's trying to be tough and walk around and like do gardening stuff and but she's recovering slowly. I keep telling her it takes longer than 1 week to recover from surgery, but she's just trying to be up and about and like mopping the house and making chicken pot pies and.
That's because she's a
You
strong.
You told her that we are live too, right? So you can't edit it out. So
Yeah, we can't edit that out.
okay, good.
I don't think you got captured, Jam.
She did not.
No.
She looks so nervous.
We'll find out.
Y'all.
Y'all.
Hey, tell her mad props because my mom is the same way, dude. She gets cut in a surgery, whatever she has to do, and she's back up to like doing stuff. Dude, them Southern women are tough.
Yeah, dude, she is one tough cookie.
Yeah, man.
And you can't stop her from doing what she's gonna do.
Nope.
That's damn right, she says.
So we can kind of, I think, come into the Q&A section. The first one that I got is, how did you get into this, and why the same Facebook, or why the same YouTube? Because, I mean, I watched your first ever YouTube video, too, that has nothing whatsoever to do with vaping. And that was well done as well.
I have dirty long hair, and I'm talking about the Bible, and it's just...
It's like the old video, Phil, we pulled up.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
DJ Miami.
We pulled up a Phil video of him DJing in the middle.
It was at a DJ seminar. And
Yeah.
he's got like the pseudo mullet. Oh man.
I'm pretty sure he'd be mad if we didn't bring up your first video.
Yeah, my first video was silly, and I had a bunch more videos on there along the same topic lines. I don't know what I was, trying to accomplish or whatever, but they all got. I took them all down. I mean, I deleted all of them except for that one. I don't know why I left that one up. I figured if someone's watching my videos and they go back all the way to the beginning, then they deserve to see the long hair and the just silly ramblingness. But I used to like doing, YouTube videos on different topics, and I don't know, it's just fun. I like having an open, discourse with people on different subjects.
So what got you into vape reviewing?
Nothing really. I was just really amazed with vaping. I was a heavy smoker, like a lot of vapors were. And when I got my first really junky Smoke 51 kit, I was using it, and I didn't have a cigarette for like 24 solid hours, and I was just like, that blew my mind, because nothing up until then had ever kept me from having a cigarette for 24 solid hours and not even like craving one, you know what I mean? And so I was just like, I was just amazed by this product. I was like, I want to tell people about this product. Because I knew so many smokers, a lot of my friends smoked, my brother smoked, so many people smoked, and I felt like it was my duty now to tell people about this great product. And I figured it would just be a video, or maybe a video and 2 videos, and then the community started kind of growing, and then I bought more things and wanted to tell people, and then it just, it got out of hand. It started going crazy.
It's a good way to put it. I started doing a couple of videos and it got out of hand.
It did. It got really out of hand really quickly.
Do you have any regrets from that getting out of hand?
No, not at all. And just being part of the community has allowed me to meet and become long-term friends with some really fantastic people that I probably would have not met otherwise. People from around the country that I would have never have met my buddy Chris, who lives in Ohio. I never would have met him or known him without doing it. So
it's funny, man, because we talked about Vape Mania earlier, and Vape Mania, we've been doing this show 22 weeks now. We've known each other longer than that. Vape Mania is the first time the 4 of us are all going to be in the same room.
Yep.
That's awesome.
We've been hanging out since like August. And
just like last month, I think, early May, mid-May. One of the people who watches Plumes, Jay Lewis, talking about you. He had to come to New York for work, so I got to play tour guide, and I'm like, yeah, I know that dude because he watches my show. It was pretty fucking cool.
Indeed. So I watched unlike your experience, when I first started, I tried vaping in, I think it was 2008, and I tried again in 2010, I tried again in 2011, and I could never make it stick. Those things, and honestly, I think it was 2011 when I found your first videos, something like that. And even that, I was just like, I couldn't, the batteries sucked ass, and the whole blue foam thing, and I just ordered dues. I mean, as much of a gadgety kind of dude as I am, I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't do it. It's so hard. The tech today is so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
New vapors don't know how good they have it.
No,
and I say that all the time. I'm like, you can grab an Ego Twist and a Pro Tank and have a monumentally better vaping experience than I had for years.
Totally.
And now we're even bridging the gap with rebuildables. Like the Aspire Nautilus and the Kangaroo Mega Tank are like starting to come close to K-Fun quality.
Yeah, I know.
They're getting there.
And nowadays, you can start off with the correct gear and actually be successful.
And you can do it for what, about $35 plus juice?
Yeah, exactly. Which is
and if you watch Plumes, you'll know what can blow up in your face and what can't. So there you go.
Right.
Because I am going to get one of those boards in, and hopefully before next show, and we're going to try to blow some shit up.
You just want me to email you my canna? mail you my candy.
Sure, if you want. I mean, we can do it all for real, like inside of the mod, and you know, temp gun it and have it all ready to go and blow it up. So
That could be fun.
we can
That
do
sounds
it.
like I want to see that,
I'm down.
actually.
I'm down. All right, so we'll try to get it before the end of the next show.
Here's a question for Grimm from the chat. So one of our regulars, Jay, said, "Hey, we know by your own admission that you're a Redditor." This is at Grimm, of course.
Yes.
Oh, we just scrolled. Don't scroll. There we go. How much time do you spend on Reddit, specifically ECR, and are you an active commenter, under a pseudonym?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I comment from time to time. I comment on kind of a lot of stuff. But yeah, I spend a lot of time on Reddit. ECR is usually the first thing that I go to, that I check pretty frequently. Like if I sit down at my computer and I have to answer emails or PMs or edit video or open Photoshop, I'll usually visit ECR before I do anything, including, when I take my iPad into the bathroom. I always.
What's your handle? Grimacing Bear Day or something?
No, it's so bizarre. It has nothing to do.
He's not gonna say it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, has he been by?
That's gonna change the responses, right?
Yeah, totally.
Has he been by Vapors Gone Wild?
I saw that someone. I saw Vapors Gone Wild. I don't think I subscribed to it yet, but I did see it.
The guy
gotta
that
grow
just
a little
asked me
bit.
that question is the guy who started that sub.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to see. I want Vapors Gone Wild to realize its full potential, and not be man nipple with hair and a mod next to it.
I've got a great question for Nick. So, under this assumed handle on Reddit that you're jonesing with and lurking and silently commenting with, does this Smurf of yours have its own haters?
Does on Reddit?
Yeah.
Does your alt account have any haters?
No, not that I know of. I don't think so.
So he behaves himself with his account. He isn't going faggot downvote, faggot downvote.
Yeah, no. OP is never a faggot.
There you go. Well, we know Toomey, and that one is, but.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
So we had a really good question on the newly established Facebook as well. You and Phil and a lot of the other guys kind of predicted where this was going to go back in the day, and for the most part, a lot of you guys had it pretty right. What do you see coming in the future?
What's left? I have no idea. We're using more crucifixions. That's what I see happening. We've got.
I'm just gonna let you know that we are probably gonna sound clip that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gotta replace our crucify him. It's getting kind of old. So we're gonna use yours. More crucifixions.
I mean, technology-wise, we've got 26650 mech mods. We've got OKR chips that go up to 50 watts. We've got rebuildable atomizers that you can build from like 0.15 to as high as you want. There's K-Fun tanks. We have great juice delivery. We can drip. I don't know. More clones? I have no idea. It's so hard. It's hard to predict.
It was a lot easier back then.
Yeah, it was easier back when we had nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
No choice, screw it.
I think, can we talk a little, what was that? Go ahead.
It's kind of a nice place for everybody, right? And it's interesting, we talked about prices earlier and where the market sets itself, and DNA is usually coming at, what, like 250? And then you get the couple guys who are lower, like this guy. Man, this guy, we had him on way, way back when. DZ?
Yeah,
145 a mod.
Oh, that's good. That's a damn good price.
Oh yeah, he's I think still the cheapest DNA on the market, and he makes a damn good product.
That's a damn good price. Which one is that?
DZ Nuts.
Yeah, X-Mods.
Yeah, X-Mods. He's probably in chat somewhere, but hit me up later if you want one. I'm sure
he has the worst website in the
industry. No, I don't want. I mean, I would.
I'm sure he would make you one if you wanted to purchase
one. I like having a variety of things that I can recommend to people because cheap DNA 30 mods are one of the most requested.
Totally.
Where can I get a cheap? And I'm like,
is
the Vapor Shark's like 170. I don't know of any.
Well, now you're gonna have to start asking them. Do you want it to catch on fire? Do you want
exactly.
it to not nightlight? I mean,
he's unfortunately harder ones to get though because of his price.
Right. I mean, it's probably worth the wait. I'm assuming.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Totally. I just put his group in on the side chat for your
perfect
later.
And I'm absolutely positive that he's watching the chat right now because he's always watching the show.
Yeah, he has the ugliest website in the industry. What up, Josh?
what up, Josh?
What up, Josh?
Much to look at either. Xmods.
And jcms.com I think is his
JCMS
website.
Vapes.
Or is it JCMS Vapes?
Yeah, JCMS Vapes.
Good. So I was thinking before. I think if you went back and looked at your multiple years of reviews at this point, you could probably like put milestones on with the amount of ink that you can see in your
yeah, which is great. That's what happens. I have a really good friend Mark. We played in a band together for years and years. I got him into vaping, so he vapes, and we've just been really good friends for a really long time. And he's a tattoo artist, so.
Moots, right?
Yeah, Mark Moots, and every once in a while I'll make an appointment with him. He'll just book me for the whole day, and we hang out and talk about music, and we vape, and he tattoos me, and it's great. And I kind of let him have a little bit of creative freedom as far as like what he wants to do, what he wants to try. Maybe he's never tried a watercolor style tattoo, so I'll end up with one of those right here. But
don't you have a clone trooper on your neck now? You want to show that off to everybody?
Well, it's the Stormtrooper.
Got blasted that neck.
Yeah,
how much does that hurt?
Stormtrooper with like traditional roses on the side. A guy from Idaho, actually, Nate Lauerman, from I can't remember, Chalice Tattoo. He did that. He was here in Reno for a tattoo festival, and he blasted my throat for 6 hours.
Yeah. That one's definitely getting audio.
No, I was gonna say that's gonna be a SoundCloud. God damn it.
I gotta apologize to Josh now because I'm watching posts on Xmods. I want a Plumes a Hazard mod. Help.
This was him sitting on that chair.
My mind's telling me no.
And now this video's getting pulled off YouTube.
It was less than 2 seconds.
Oh man. Hey, so Slob Dog from the chat says, Grimm, did you create all of your flavors? What's your process?
The process for as far as Namber Juice flavors go is a lot of trial and error. Sometimes we try to think up flavors that aren't going to be, that we think, oh, this is a great idea. Like this is back in December. I was fiddling around with a root beer banana flavor because I'm like, oh, that would be awesome. And so I'm mixing it, and I'm like, that's pretty good. And then I did some more, and I'm like, that's not really as good as I'd hoped. And then it turned out to be something that we didn't want to pursue. But yeah, we kind of tinker with and think of the flavors. We contract a lab in Michigan, which is food grade ISO 6 mixing lab, and we work with them as well as far as once we get a flavor down, they'll mix up a bunch of samples of it, and then we'll go through and taste 15 different versions of the same juice, and we'll go back and forth with, I really liked number 1. Oh, you liked number 2 more? I was like, well, I mixed number 3 and number 2 together, and I really like that. And they're like, oh, yeah, we could do that. And so I'll get samples of that. It's this whole kind of long process, but the initial idea, the initial juice is always mine and Amber's, creation, and then it goes through revisions after revisions after revisions before it finally becomes a sellable quality product.
Sure. So my question on that is, because when you released Namber, was that last summer? I think something like that.
Yeah, it was sometime in 2012. I think it was early 2012.
So I used to I loved it out of my Cleros and stuff. But since then, as I mentioned earlier, I've gone Max VG. Is there any hope of getting ratio selections at Namber? Not
ratio selections. But but there's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's a sure thing right now, so I feel comfortable. I don't know. Maybe someone's going to get mad at me.
That's
we're going to have a max VG line. We're going to take our top 10 sellers and do an 80-20 VG PG 30 ml bottles in 0, 3, and 6, and then that's all.
That's
just going to be straight up for drippers, and it's going to be called something. It's going to be presented by an amber juice, but it's going to have a slightly different. It's going to be our flavors, but it's going to have a slightly different name.
Sure,
but
that's really exciting to me.
Line.
I did enjoy Tom's Vanilla Peppermint was one of my first just favorite juices. I love that juice.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't been able to vape it in a really long time. I would love it if I could have it again. So can I assume that it's going to be around $1 a mil?
Yeah, it's actually going to be, yeah.
What's it going to come in? What's it going to come in? What's it going to come in?
It's going to be
stained glass.
Picture this: a stained
If I see that in a freaking curio cabinet, I'm driving over to your house and being like, "Yo,
no, dude, we can just Chuckleophagus do it. He's close.
You heard it here first."
I think we're gonna do. We're gonna try to be fancy a little bit and have glass 30 ml bottles with drippers, but we're looking for a bottle that nobody's used before because they need to have childproof caps, but they need to not be annoying.
Yes.
And you know what I mean?
Good luck.
We just want a really cool bottle, and they're going to be 30 ml bottles. I think we're going to go for the glass drippers for the Max VG.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's a thing. It's going to happen.
Nick, I'm going to hide this. Don't put them in these bottles, because this is going to come off when it's in your pants pocket.
Yeah, we don't want that.
But I'll also hide this one. This one's actually pretty decent. This is like a child resistant.
Yeah, it's got the plastic seal at the bottom.
Right. Which works pretty well. It's not child proof.
The Mount Baker Vapor Guar fluids. They sent me a bunch of those, and I kind of like those bottles. They're child proof, but they're a little bit annoying to use.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that is. You have to press really hard to kind of get them open.
Sure. Well, that's exciting. That might be the most exciting thing that comes out of this whole interview. That's
possible.
Yeah.
I might get in trouble for that as well. So.
Hey, don't anybody say anything. Everybody shut up for a little while.
It's already trending on Reddit, bro. Too late.
We have more under the radar than we've ever had before, so we're screwed.
Mm-hmm. Lots of user numbers, user underscore. Choose your nickname, guys. You can do it. It's really easy.
Maybe they want to be user 634125.
That's true. I'm sorry.
So in doing this, and I'm gonna get to some of the better later, but we asked Phil, you got horror stories, terrible stuff that you've seen, stuff like that. You want to share any horror stories?
Like somebody coming up to you with a bottle of juice, hiding it in a picture, and then saying, "Look, Grimm Green likes my juice."
No.
Shit, I just probably gave a bad idea to people. Don't do that, people. Okay, be on the lookout for hidden bottles inside of curio cabinets.
Yeah, I'll have to search people before they are allowed to approach me now. No, I don't really have many horror stories as far as people go. Obviously, there's been plenty of companies that have sent me things to review, and I just felt that they were so awful that I didn't even want to put it on YouTube, and I've sent them back. I've contacted them back and been like, look, this is really, really bad, like so bad that I don't even want to put it on the internet. And I've sent things back, and I don't do juice videos anymore, obviously, because of Namber Juice. It's a little too much of a conflict of interests. But people still like to at least get some feedback, and so people still send me juice, and some of them are really good, and some of them are not as good as you were hoping, and it's a bummer when I get my hopes up. There was a shop, I don't want to name names, but there was a shop in Southern California, and they sent me a bunch of juice, really nice labels, great art on them, nice glass bottles. Every single juice tasted like chapstick or perfume, and it really, really bummed me out, and I'm like, oh, what a letdown, because they, it's their premium juice. I'm like, wow, this is really terrible. And I'm certainly not gonna go on YouTube or any other place and say this company has terrible juice, because that's just a road I don't want to go down. But yeah, that happens from time to time. And then some people send me juices that I really like.
I think I said it when Phil was on too, man. But back before this show and when I started vaping, I had a review channel for a little while, and people don't give you reviewers enough credit because it's hard shit. Like, it's a lot of shit.
It's kind of a big, long process. Most of my weekend is spent, here. I've shot a double feature already. I still have to edit the second video. Tonight is when I'm going to shoot my vlog, so I have to get all my stuff and all my links and stuff ready for that. And then that has to get shot and edited, and then they get uploaded later in the week. And then as soon as those hit YouTube, all the comments and private messages and emails start coming in, so you work through those. It's like a big, long, never-ending process. But, obviously,
it's like a secondary full-time job.
Didn't enjoy it, but yeah, and I spend my work time answering PMs. At work on my downtime, or I'll go out on my lunch break and I'll be sitting there chain vaping with my iPad, answering emails, and then now I have to go back to my other job.
To your work that pays you money.
My work that pays,
Right.
And that's the thing, right? It's not just the reviewing stuff and playing with new mods all the time. That's kind of the fun part of it. But there's a lot of work outside of that that people don't take into consideration. Video editing, reshooting.
You got to network too.
And networking and answering emails and all that stuff.
Yeah. And you have to be on top of news and new devices, and I'll just hear about something like that new vicious ant, whatever, the ridiculous
thing that's a piece of crap.
People were asking me about that. People were asking me about that before I even knew what it was. And I'm like, shit, I have to research this.
If you want the lowdown for it, I borrowed somebody's for 2 weeks.
I have to educate myself.
It's got pulse width modulation like a Chinese device.
Oh, bummer.
And it's $500 and some.
Wow.
Wholesale.
Yeah, wholesale is $500. Retail is $550 or higher. It's supposed to be.
Cease and desist coming to Sean.
As far as what I heard, it's supposed to be like Gorilla Glass. It's not. It's acrylic. My buddy won one the other day in a raffle because the store that I borrowed them from decided not to sell them, and they gave them all away. When he opened his up, the backplate fell off because it was super glued on and it didn't stick.
What?
$500, y'all.
$500.
That's what $500 buys you.
Good luck with that.
Probably the most sought after device in vaping right now. And in my time using it, if I would have won that raffle for it, it would have been on Mod Trader that night to get something worthwhile.
Yeah, that's like 4 Dukes.
Yep, exactly.
Measures up.
I will say in straight voltage mode from the battery, for 15 minutes, it's not bad because you can get about 200 watts out of it. But the biggest battery is 1500 mAh and the smallest is 1000.
At 120 watts.
1500 mAh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the big size, which is huge and heavy, is 1500 mAh.
Yeah, and it's the size of bigger than an iPhone, right?
It's about a box.
It's about, if you took a Duke and widened it probably 2 Dukes wide, that's about how wide it is.
Holy shit.
Everything should be measured in Dukes.
It's heavy.
Those guys need to talk to me about stuffing batteries into small boxes.
Why did Vicious
they should have just called me. The smallest DNA available out right now.
Yeah, baby, look at that little thing. Look how cute that is.
So tiny, so.
I have a huge DNA 30.
Is it Joe Litt's soapbox?
Yeah, it's this giant.
Yeah.
That's a monster. That's almost 2 Dukes tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's color changing though.
Yeah, and it's a 26650.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a 2650.
You're not talking a 1500 mAh battery.
Yeah, and plus it's I don't know. It's
I
ridiculous.
have the little brother version here. This is the 18650. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe came on a couple weeks ago. He's a really fun guy.
Yeah.
I like Joe. He's always been super nice.
Can we find out how to submit to ISO online about how to make the Duke the standard unit of measurement in height, width, and dollar cost of things? because I think that's really good.
I can walk about 15 or 1600 dukes from the subway to the shop.
Yeah, because mine's a quarter of a Duke, so
Yeah. That could be. You could measure distance with Dukes as well. It never ends. About 8,000 Dukes away.
Well, I use my Duke here to measure things. Yeah. I do know.
Yeah, but come on, you have the Duke's little Mexican cousin.
Yeah, dude. Got the Mass Mini mod going on.
Yeah, I didn't bring it down here. I'm just rocking mech life right now.
So
Maybe like a peasant right now.
I have two things for
the review side, Nick.
What?
What's your process with a device when you get it in?
Whenever I first get something, I just try to use it as much as possible. Which sometimes I learned quickly not to rely on a brand new shiny thing that comes in. I always take some sort of backup, like DNA 30 and a K-Fun plus this new thing that came in, and I try to use it as much as possible, and I end up spending a lot of time. Right now I'm booked. I have enough product for well into July, maybe into the early August, of devices and atomizers and stuff that I'm trying to use. So at any given time I have and I'm certainly not trying to brag because every day I wish I just had one mod, but there's 12 or 13, 14 different things all going at the same time right now.
Well, it's great to have a new mod, right? But you have an expectation now attached to it.
And it's funny because I still get excited about vape mail. Yeah, and I still get excited about vape mail, but every time I open a package, it looks like work to me. Like I see this new mod and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Oh, now I have to go through this whole endurance testing phase where I use it until the battery dies, or I drop it, or I purposefully will just throw it in my backpack and jostle it around during the day to see how the finish holds up. And it's work. So as soon as I do a video for a device, it will either get given away, either online or to a friend. I end up giving my tattoo guy Mark a lot of mods. He has terrible vape luck. He just breaks mods. I don't know what it is. Or it will just go right to the shelf because I know that there's another mod right behind that needs attention, and then I need to get my thoughts together on, and I need to write stuff down, and that's going to be next in line. And as soon as that gets a video, it's going to get given away or go on the shelf or go to somebody else because there's another product right behind it that's going to need my attention and going to need a video. So it's work. Vape mail is work for me.
So,
but
I gather that you get your kicks from a DNA and a K-Fun. Do you have a preferred DNA?
I like the Dark Star from Grateful Vapor a lot. I think I'm going to do a video for that this week. Additionally, I have that Carbon Method one. Have you guys seen this one?
No, I don't.
It's ridiculous. It's expensive as hell. That's the problem. It's the Radix 1.
Oh yeah, the Radix. Yeah, they gave Phil one of those too. I think at the last meet.
And I've been using it, and the battery's been good. And this is a K-Fun clone on here. I had to replace the screws that hold down the wires. I had to replace those because they were junky.
How
but otherwise,
because it looks like a project box.
It's pricey as hell. I think it's $230.
God damn!
Is that a Buffalo mod? Because
it's a project box, man.
It does come in a box that you can lock that has a combination key on it. So
nice.
Yeah, stained glass on the bottom.
How many Mas?
How many Mas?
Several Mas.
I believe it's 2,400 Ma.
Oh, okay.
Ma.
That's not bad.
Uses lipo packs like the Dark Star. I like box mods that just charge via USB. That's like my favorite thing ever.
Sure.
Yep.
I got a couple things I need to throw in before we get too far off topic. I want to. Carolee said, "Grimm, your Cartomator Crush is the single most delicious strawberry champagne I've ever had." And Freeze some guy named Freeze in the chat is saying, are you dressing up for Vape Mania's $500 costume competition? And if so, what are you coming as?
See? What did I tell you? Freeze is expecting things from me. I was talking to my brother today, actually, who's maybe a bigger wrestling fan than Freeze and Mooch combined. And we were trying to figure out what I could do. And
Is that
we were
even possible?
He's out of his mind, is what it is. Great. I mean, I love my brother. And we were trying to think of, like, who I could dress up as, and we were getting, like, really obscure, like, these wrestlers that were around for, like, 2 matches back in the 80s. But they had a gimmick like they were a hockey player, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I might just get, like, an Andre the Giant style singlet and just rock that.
And also, before we go too far off, my buddy was kind enough to send me a picture of the variant.
Oh, yeah.
The glue all came off. So.
Oh, that's the back of it?
Yeah, that's the back of the variant.
That shouldn't be off of it, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the back that shouldn't be off the back.
I think he sent me the front, too. I mean, it's a very pretty mod, don't get me wrong. But, you know, it's falling apart. So, there is that.
Wow.
That is a very nice box, though.
It is a very nice box.
It kind of bums me out that their VA logo looks like the Namber logo a little bit.
They probably
Crucifixions?
Yeah, it looks a little bit like the Namber juice.
Oh man, let's see. Did we get good lore? We're at an hour 11. Let's see.
So I'm sure more questions are going to be coming in. And do you mind hanging out while we do our tech time segment here real quick? And then.
Oh yeah, I got some time.
You got a setup, Master?
Yep. I need controls because I can't cam down.
Niglon says, Nick, you should be Al Snow.
Oh, I should be. Al Snow that would be a great. Great gimmick. I just need a mannequin head.
A mannequin? You could always pull a Bombies.
Yeah.
So we had. Are you familiar with Bombies at all, Nick?
Just from what I read on Reddit.
And the pictures. Have you seen any of the pictures of him in that?
So he's very familiar then.
In his helmet. Yeah.
That's what I know of Bombies.
He did our whole show in that damn helmet.
Yes, he did.
Did he really?
He had it with him the night before, and he had it on then too.
That's fantastic.
It was great.
He's hilarious, dude. He's so funny.
Oh yeah.
Hey man, you gotta have a thing. That's his thing, and he rocks it.
You gotta have a thing.
I gotta say, while we're on the topic of Bombies, I got in Kiss the Ring and Blackout City today. Blackout City, not sure. Kiss the Ring, phenomenal juice. It's
How much is it though?
I think $16 at 30 mil or $17 at 30 mil.
Oh, so that's really good.
Yeah,
that's reasonable.
And I mean it's Nana cream with a custard on top, and it's really good.
So you like that diacetyl then, do you?
Yeah, I really do.
I love it.
I actually hate most custards. There's 2 that I like. I like Goose Juice from Quacks, and I'm digging this one.
I found one custard that I really like from Classified e-liquids. They have a vanilla something or other custard that's really good. It doesn't taste like cake batter.
Huh.
Like a lot of them do.
Nick, if you go dressed as Gold Dust, you will win the prize automatically.
I don't know if I have enough gold paint.
While Mast is continuing to set up, Cozy Asian from the chat says, "How does it feel to know how much of an impact you've had on helping so many people quit smoking?"
It's stupidly humbling when people say things like that, and I always try to give them the same response when I say that. You know, if you feel like you quit smoking or started vaping because of my videos, then that's you. Like, don't sell yourself short. You did all the hard work. You know what I mean? Like, you took the step. You took the initiative. You bought the gear. You stuck with it.
Yeah.
You did all the hard work. I'm a guy on YouTube.
You just empty their wallet.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, but at the
buy
same time, you saved us money too, because I know there's several devices that I went to go buy, and based on your and other people's reviews, I was like, nah.
MVP.
Yeah, exactly.
well, yeah.
And that was actually a very Phil Basardo response, because he says something very similar. He's like, look, every time that craving came up, I wasn't there. You did that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they did all the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll cut over to MASH for a minute, and then I think we have
cozy time.
An important topic for you after that, actually, that we have not yet covered.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it on light real fast.
I guess what they're trying to say, Nick, is that you kind of made it all right. I'm like, okay, cool. We're all in this together.
Sorry.
Okay, so the SX350 board that many of you might have, this is the version 1.2. There's a newer version that's out, the 2.0. You could get them right now at, I'll drop it in chat, Anxie, if you want to drop the site over. These boards that you might have bought don't have the actual wires soldered onto the board for your up and down buttons like I showed you last week. Well, I'm going to show you where the pads are on the board that you can actually solder to if you want to add wires when and use the update to update your board to have an up and down feature of buttons without having to use the accelerometer. And starting from the top, you'll see you have one pad here. This is the back of the board. Here's your negative and your positive connector. These are the wires for your switch. And here on the right side of the board, when you're looking at it, you're going to have 4 pads. These 4 pads right here. Okay. You have your top pad, your second one. This third one is not used at all. Okay. And then this last one is going to be your common. So you'll have your up button, your down button. Okay, and you'll have the top button, the top pad here is it's going to do your down button. Okay, the second one is going to do your up button. The center pad is not used whatsoever. And guys, is that in focus? I can't look at my screen right now. Just making sure it is.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, and then the last one is your common. So what you can actually do is you can solder here to your down button, you can solder here to the leg of your up button, and then you can bridge the two and come down to the common. You don't have to solder 2 pieces of wire onto here. You can just do one. Okay, and what I've done here is, as you can see, this is what the pads look like before. Okay, it's a square and it has no solder on it whatsoever. What I went ahead and did is I dropped a small little blob of solder on the ones that we were going to use. Okay, and I'm going to try to do this here. Because I have it up close, so we'll see if I can get in there and solder this. But you're going to take I'm using 24 gauge 200G stranded wire. It's already tinned here at the end, like we've done before in the previous shows, and I'm going to just directly solder onto the board after putting a small blob of solder on there. So what we want to do is we'll want to come in. We'll try to do this common one down here at the bottom real quick. And that's it. Takes very little solder to go on here. The pads are really small. I'm going to try to turn it here so you guys can see. And you just got to be careful, again, not a lot of heat. Keep a little bit of solder there. You don't have to use a lot. Okay, and it helps a lot when you have your wire pre-tinned. Okay, there's the other one. I'm trying to do these at an angle so you guys can see it does not take much. Wait for it to focus here. It's not going to want to focus there, but it doesn't take much to solder those on, okay? And they're on there. They're not going to go anywhere. You can, I suggest you take your hot glue gun. After I'm only going to do those 2 right now so you guys can see the spacing. After you've soldered them onto the board, go ahead and take your hot glue, and to relieve the stress on these guys, put a nice blob of hot glue around this, and that'll kind of protect the wires. If you're putting this into a mod that this back part is being pressed up against something, you could always bend your wires and then put the hot glue in, so that way your wires are facing the direction that you want. okay, and that'll help. And that's it, folks. To do the up and down buttons, you'll solder your top one, your second one, your third one will be open, and your fourth one is your common. Okay, and on the Veritube site, there's actually directions and a schematic of which one of these does what, and the upgrade files and all that. Now, Yeehee isn't doing this for everyone. This was a special request that cost a little bit extra, but the guy over at Veritube actually has the new boards that just arrived, have the wires already installed onto the board. Okay, I don't know if there's going to be a cost difference on there or not. I don't think so, but he does have some boards in stock right now that have the wires already attached to the board. Because as you can see, these are really small spots, so they're worried about people screwing stuff up by adding their own buttons. So this isn't available anywhere. This was a special request by him to get some of these out, and he has one that already have the wires on. So makes your life a little easier if you want to set up a mod and you want your tact switches to control the up and down instead of using the accelerometer built in. So that's it. I don't know if any questions came up while I was doing that. No,
just people concerned that Nick died.
What happened? I'm sorry. I was answering emails. That's
right.
So sorry.
No, that's all right. You had your hat pulled down and you're kind of like listed on the side. We're like, oh shit, he died.
There was actually a question for Nick that came out of the Plumes group on Facebook, Nick, and that is, what was your beer today?
I haven't had any beers today.
What?
So you guys caught me at like 6 in the evening my time. So that's before I've really had a chance to unwind. I would have showered, started making dinner, probably hot dogs on the barbecue grill, and then picked.
You wound up.
I believe it's going to be Samuel Smith organic chocolate stout tonight. That's what I'm feeling. I have a cold bottle in the fridge, and that's what sounds good to me.
Nice. Hey, Matt, what temp is your solder gun set to?
I have it, actually, I'll tell you right now. I'll pull out my temp gun. This is a Weller soldering iron, so I have it in between 3 and 4, and the temperature, of course, my reader would be dead.
Of course.
Yeah. I use this to play with the dogs because it's got a laser built in, so that's what I've been using those for. So I haven't actually used it for temping anything, but so that's why it's probably dead, because they actually know the click now. So when I click it, they're like, "Where's the dot?" So, but it's in between 3 and 4. So this is a 40-watt Weller soldering iron. So I'd have to say around 25 watts. It's outputting right now. So. You want it to be hot enough where you can drop quick heat on it and get out. You don't want to sit there and be holding your soldering iron. Usually I run it halfway. You don't want to sit there and be holding your soldering iron for about 30 seconds on that pad, because you're going to screw something up.
So you're saying you just want to be able to hit it and quit it. So that's what you're saying.
Yep. Yeah, wow. Pretty much. Hit and quit it.
Hey, Nick Lund says, hey, Grimm, any metal nastiness that you've been digging lately?
Other than Baptists? No, not really. I actually recently subscribed to the black metal subreddit. And
yes.
Some of the stuff that they post is so ridiculous.
It's heaven, dude. That's only
it's
black
crazy. Metal. Some of it's really good, and then some of it's so just cult and true that it just sounds like a wind tunnel. Like, that's the song. It's just a wind tunnel. It's just, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's so brutal. Just devastating. Wow.
Before we get to nice subjects, the one thing we haven't talked about yet is free to vape.
Yeah.
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 And I know you wanted to talk a little bit about that, Mast.
Free to vape.
I didn't want to talk about nothing. What are you talking about? No. I just wanted to see where the website stands and the whole. I don't know if I want to call it debacle, but issue where the heavy hitters in vaping started with Rip Trippers went out and I believe he contacted all of you guys and said, you know, we have to do this. Yeah, and I mean, you know, I've seen, I know Phil pulled the video that he had up, and he wanted to reconvene after coming back from Miami because a lot of stuff started happening, and you know, I saw some of the posts in my local group, and I said, hey guys, look, this is great. I said, but hold off on putting information in there because this is completely unsecured right now at this point. You know, you can go in and pull the database, you can pull information, and you know, let's wait, you know, a week or so to see where this goes, and you know, and then after you input your name and stuff like that, it took you to another page that showed everybody's name, and of course shenanigans started happening, and you know, all of a sudden pornography was up there, and some tentacle porn, and I mean, all kinds of stuff started going up there, and I mean, someone actually got a whole quote of something in the body, and they never removed it till after. You know, just it was, you know, it was. I honestly, that's one of the things that I was worried about was, man, this site's going to get hit hard because you know, when the you know, major people in vaping actually you know, talk about it, you better believe you're going to get a huge response. So
yeah, and I thought it was. I still think it's a great idea. I made a really strong point, I feel, in the video that I did for it, was that you know, this is just another thing. It doesn't replace your CASA membership. It doesn't negate any call to actions that may happen. Regulations.gov is still the place that you need to communicate with the FDA. And the problem is, the point that was brought up last night on Kevin's show is the FDA isn't really looking for personal stories or anecdotal evidence like that. They're looking for studies, for legit science, and that's what they're looking for. So the personal stories to the FDA, they may fall on deaf ears, but contacting your congressman or your congresspeople, they are the ones that hold the FDA accountable for their actions. So if there's Congress who aren't aware of what's going on or may not know how many people it affects or this, that, and the other, it's a good idea to get their attention. They work for us. I mean, theoretically, Congress works for us, and they are the voice of the people within Congress. So they are the ones that hold the FDA accountable. So I still like the idea of the site. It probably wasn't done as well as it could have been or as it should have been. It was a little bit rushed. It was a little bit premature. We should have just waited another 2 weeks and got all these kinks worked out. But Rip was very, very insistent on doing it that day. All that, it was all planned. We were all going to shoot a video. We were all going to upload them at certain times, and he was very, like, orchestrated the whole thing. And every time someone emailed me, and believe me, people emailed me, every time someone emailed me and said something about the site, or that it's broken, or that there's tentacle porn, or that there's no terms of service, or that there's no privacy policy, all I would do is just, because I didn't have anything to do with the site, I didn't build it or anything like that, so I just kept forwarding these off to Rip Trippers, hoping that shit would get taken care of, and he's very, you know, adamant and very, you know, constantly reassuring that the kinks are going to get worked out, it's going to be secure, it's doing what it says it's going to do, and I have no reason not to believe him. Rip Trippers has never just straight up lied to me or, you know, stabbed me in the back or anything, so I think it's a good idea, and I think once it's fully realized, it will be a better idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I was a little.
Yeah, your video definitely was made both those points pretty clear, right? This is a both and, not either or sort of situation with CASA, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I see that is a. Go ahead.
And what I was going to say is, I know Julie personally. I've known Julie, the president of CASA, for years. I mean, since early 2010 is when I met Julie. This is before she was on the board at CASA, and now she's the president of CASA. So we have a long history together, and when I was emailing with her, I told her, I was like, I would not do anything that I feel would damage our cause. You know what I mean? And people keep talking about there's all this division, but there's not. There doesn't need to be division. You don't have to just stand behind Free to Vape or just stand behind CASA. No one's drawing that line, and Julie even told me there doesn't need to be this this drama. It got out of hand, and poor Julie was on vacation. She was fishing, and she emailed me, and she's like, I'm like, you're not even, like, she wasn't even around to deal with all this. And so it wasn't fair to her, it wasn't fair to Kasa, and so, you know, they're not mutually exclusive. You don't have to stand behind one or the other.
It blew up. It blew up quick.
I had a vendor tell me the other day that the way this is going is really interesting because, you know, we're all sitting around fighting this war, you know, all this segregation between shops, between causes, and there's a fucking asteroid about to crash into all of it.
Yeah.
But we're still bitch slapping each other.
And that doesn't need to.
See, I don't know. Even okay, so the website had issues, and you know, and some people fought me on you know, putting their information. I said, go ahead, that's fine. You know, you can do that.
Right.
But I don't understand. The website issue was one thing, okay? I mean, it happens. Yeah. You know, hey, it happened to the freaking healthcare.org website. You know, when millions of people try to, you know, get on there, but I don't understand where the whole division thing came from. You know, because I mean. Yeah. As soon as that came out, it was like, oh, well, you know what? Screw Kasa, because they're just taking forever, and we're going to do this. And I'm like, okay, but you're doing this, that's great, but you don't have to kick the other guy. You know, you can work
right,
and work together.
Kasa never, the difference is Kasa, their official statement was that they don't support it. Right. Kasa never said, don't do that.
Right.
Kasa just said, this isn't something that we support. They never told anybody, don't go to freetovape.org, and if you do, then you can just turn in your Kasa membership card. There was no lines drawn in the sand.
And on the other hand, Free to Vape didn't say, you know, don't you know, make sure you turn in your Kasa membership before you fill out the information.
Right.
You know, so it was like, I don't understand where all of this just exploded, you know, drama just came up. And everyone just pretty much, you know, it's like people were literally leaving groups and choosing sides because when the website came out, they were like, "Whoa, you're putting your information in there." You know, they were banning people who were posting about it. I mean, it got pretty insane.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's great. Let's just divide even more. Yeah. Now, you know,
saturation of the market.
People don't understand is. I guess on the basic level is how lobbying works. Like, okay, so if you believe Kasa takes forever to update or whatever, what you need to understand is that Kasa is already embedded. They've got, they've done some lobbying, they've got contacts and all that. And say, hypothetically speaking, Kasa goes off and Free to Vape turns into something bigger. The thing is, that takes time.
Right.
To take something completely new and put that in motion, because we're not playing our game. We're playing Washington's game.
Yep.
So we have to play, it's their court.
Yep.
Someone just said in chat, Kasa doesn't have tentacle porn, though.
We don't.
I mean, I saw Russ. Russ was like, where's the porn at? I missed it. You know, he was all interested in going to it. You know, I mean, at least drive people to it. But
so two more lighter topics. We got a question from Mast, the guy Darren from our Facebook. He wants to know if he can get a pre-beta Mast Mini DNA to be the first one to have it in the UK.
I told him he can't have one until I have one.
I don't know. We'll see. I have to. I usually can tell if it's going to be you know, I'm not going to go crazy building another one, because I'm telling you, literally. I mean, here I'll stand an 18650 to it. I mean, you guys have seen the size of the box. Okay, it's all built, you know, in place. So I have to put everything in place and then solder everything together. So, you know, I'm not going to say yes or no. I don't know, because it's one of those crazy endeavors where I said, I wonder if I can stick, you know, 1300 mAh and a DNA 30 in there. Okay, let's try it. So, you know, we'll see.
And then Nick, you know, we kind of asked you about horror stories earlier. You got good ones, touching moments. Bring the feels, man. Bring the feels to close the show.
Bring the feels to the close of the show. I'm a huge proponent of the human connection. There's not much more I love than talking to people, making friends, and connecting with people on like a very, you know, it's going to sound so corny, but on a deep level, on a really good friendship level. And this isn't a plug for Namber Juice, but it's going to kind of sound like a plug for Namber Juice. I have a good friend Chris, I was talking about, he lives in Ohio. I met him at the very first Vape Bash, and he was very like fanboy-y, you know what I mean? There's sometimes that happens, and he was very fanboy and like, oh, you know, shaking my hand and just shaking. I really like your videos, and you've been such a good help to me. And I'm like, oh, cool. You know, I'm trying to be calm. Like, oh, thank you very much. That's awesome. You know, thank you for watching. I think that's great. And then over the course of the meet, he kind of calmed down, and we started talking about music, and he turned out to be a really cool guy. And then at the second Vape Bash, he was there again, and it was just like we were just old friends. Like, we hung out, we drank beer, we did shots, we just were good buddies. And then at the third Vape Bash, I decided that I wanted to do something special for him because he had been such a good friend to me, and we met through vaping. And so we designed an amber juice that is his name. His name is Chris Masteller, and so we made a juice called Masteller Mint. And at the second Vape Bash, we were drunk, and we were talking about juice flavors we wanted to see. And he kept telling me, he's like, Grimm, you need to make a juice with like all the mints combined. Like, you need to have wintergreen and spearmint and make it sweet and have a little bit of menthol and this, and this. And so I'm like, yeah, dude, that's a great idea. And then so that's the juice we made for my good buddy Chris Masteller, and now it's called Masteller Mint, and it's his, you know, it's his namesake juice because he's been such a good friend to Amber and I, and we met at Vape Bash. That, you know, 2 years later we were able to like surprise him. We kept it a complete secret until I saw him at the meet. We got to surprise him with this new juice that has his last name on it, and it's the exact juice like that he wanted. And it was just a really good moment. Like, we got it on video. I went and I found him in the crowd, and I gave him a big hug, and I was like, Chris, you got to look at this. And I showed him the bottle, and his face was just like he didn't know what to do. He was just blown away, and it was like, you know, it was just a really touching moment to be able to do that for someone who had been such a good friend to me and Amber, and we met at Vape Bash through vaping.
Mm-hmm.
Are those enough feels for you?
That's a good story, man. That's a good story.
That's much feels.
Yeah, many feels, man. I will say, I think I can speak for all of us too. I think we're looking forward to seeing you at Vape Mania, like in the flesh, not just on the air.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. Goss has emailed me and said that, oh, we're going to get so drunk at Vape Mania, and I'm like, oh.
At least Goss is going to be very drunk.
Yeah, so Goss lives about 4 or 5 hours from me, and he makes trips up here to meets and crashes in my spare bedroom.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Gosh, that's a good dude. And I agree, man. Like the people that you can meet through this, and like the friends and connections, like not outside of just the guys on this show, you know, guys like Boss and stuff. Like it's so cool to you know, make so many good friends from something like this.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I love that the human connection. I like connecting with people, and I think it's
well, if you have a few minutes after the show, we always do an after party. If you want to hang out for a few minutes and talk to some of the guests, we always open up the hangout.
How angry my wife is at me.
You got some time. But
dude, she just has surgery. Let the man go.
Well, I'm letting him go. That's what I'm saying. He has some time to figure it out. He doesn't got to come in afterward. It's cool. I'm just extending the offer because we always extend the offer, right?
It's true. It's true. We are.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you. Oh yeah, absolutely. It doesn't take much. You know, we just set up a time and we went for it, right?
That's right.
And it's been a very fun show.
It has.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been very cool. Thank you guys for having me. I guess I'll see you on Reddit.
There you go. Whether or not we know it, we'll see.
Yeah, although you won't see me.
And for everybody who tuned in, thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for showing up.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciated.
Awesome.